and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer here at the Center for Victory, and with me is my lovely Chief Joy Officer, Faith, my daughter. We're coming to you from Utah, and one of the reasons that we decided to do a podcast out here today, we decided to disconnect for a little bit, and I think it's helped us both, but maybe just a few tips for some folks. It's just you and I. It's actually a trip that we've taken in the past, not necessarily here, but other places. We've gone to other places, have a lot of fun, and just kind of get reacquainted with one another. It just gives us time for you and I. Nobody's in the way. There's a lot of things that we get to discuss and talk about. So I guess from your point of view, I know kind of my point of view, I've been talking about it. We are truly disconnected. I mean, there is no internet here where we're at. We're out in the middle of Utah, and there's no internet, barely any
no service, really.
Cell phone service anywhere around. So we'll have to wait and edit all this when we get back. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But what does it mean to disconnect for you? I have some ideas, and you can ask me, but I'm wondering what it's meant to you the past few days.
The past few days, I'm not great at disconnecting. We should probably start with that, because I'm a teenager who loves her phone. But I think it's been really eye-opening for me, because I actually picked up a book and read it on the way here, and I have spent time fostering a relationship that's important to me. And I think when you're in person and you're literally your only choice is to talk to people, you start to get good at it. I don't know, I think it's been cool to just do things kind of on the seat of our pants. This whole trip has just kind of been oh, you want to do that? Sure, we're already here. Or driving through mountains and mountains that just don't make sense to me, and it's wow, we are so small. If I don't look up from my phone, I'm missing an opportunity that's right in front of me, or I'm missing things every day that are so awesome. So I don't know, I think disconnecting's a lot of things, but I think it's important for me this trip to just kind of be still and know that I am just right where I need to be and focusing on things that I need to focus on. So
well, I know it was cool. Was it the first or second day we were here? We were actually not here. We were in Bryce Canyon, and we spent a little time walking Inspiration Point and getting some inspiration. But we took some time, and rather than just keep hiking, trudging along, just to sit down and actually sit down on the rim there and just chill for a little bit. And it felt kind of good just to hear the wind, just be with one another and talk a little bit and get kind of gather your thoughts. And really, I mean, we were sitting down, but getting grounded. I mean, you do get grounded
as we're 8,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, but that was pretty neat. And again, nobody was calling or anything like that, or email.
Well, they might have been, but we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
And then here, I mean, at least where we got back to the place we were staying before, there was internet. There's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here. And
no.
I know last night, just being able to, I guess we spent probably an hour and a half just looking up instead of not looking down at our phones.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd say.
Yeah. How many shooting stars did we see? 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah. Just in that short period, and that's just the ones we saw, right?
Yeah.
But we weren't looking down at our phones. We didn't miss that. I think for me, being disconnected brings back. I know I got really excited the first star I saw coming over here. I was like, Faith, because you did see it. The first one I got all excited, but it brings back that. Just that kind of that childlike wonder. It was wow.
Yeah.
Cool. And then pretty soon it got darker and darker, and I'm why do the stars sparkle like that? And it's just it's that childhood wonder of just disconnecting. Typically at that time, most people probably would have had their phones. You and I included. I'm not judging you. Just down and not spending that time together and really talking about things that matter instead of thumbing through Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff. So really just taking time to connect with one another getting back and not getting too off track, but what's been important for you for the trips that we've taken? Like, we've taken a lot of trips, and then they're not all this huge or anything. Some of them have been, some of them haven't been, but it's that time away that we've consistently done.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's important to you?
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons, especially this trip in particular. I mean, because our first one here was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like crazy to see how much impact you've had on me growing up, because like this would just seem so normal to me. Like, of course we're gonna go on a trip together. Like, that makes total sense, even though my friends were like, huh? Like, you're going on a trip with your dad? That's so weird. I was like, but it's not, because it's helped me grow. Every time I go on these trips, I'm motivated to do something when I get back. Like, it's like, I'm just on such like going back to inspiration point, but I am like on an inspiration kick of like, oh, I know that I can be something. And I think it's important when you disconnect to realize that like, I have support from every angle, you know? I have support from mom who's at home like waiting for pictures even though we don't have service, but she's still waiting. But then like you and I are just like belly laughing about dumb stuff like cows on the road and like just random stuff, and it's nice because I think you push me to be a better person, obviously, but I think we both are like good. Like, once we're together, we're like just such a crazy little team. I don't know, I think our relationship has helped me form better relationships with the people I have in my life, because like you're a great example, mom's a great example. And then moving forward, I'm like, wow, like I've seen this firsthand. Like, now I know how to like put that into play a bit with my own little spin on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like important. I mean, it's crazy how many trips we've taken that are all so incredibly different. Like, last trip we went to Paris, and this is definitely not Paris. So I think wherever we are, it's just cool that like we'll always have fun. We'll always figure out something to do, no matter how crazy or dusty it may be.
Yeah, but it's important to definitely connect. I mean, we always say relationships are oxygen. I mean, you need those, and I think that's the biggest thing about getting disconnected is actually to get connected again.
Yeah,
I think we need that just to literally, when we're sitting on top of the point the other day, it just brought chills. I was just filled with emotion because it was just like, oh, just relax, right? Like, nobody's bothering me. There's no dings. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
And we were silent for a while, and just kind of sitting up there and in the breeze.
Well, I mean, you could hear the wind.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It's very cool, and just connecting again, and then start asking each other questions. What's important to you? And one of the things that we've done as well. And we're making some of them come happen. And this is really important because when we take time to disconnect and connect, we're not just connecting with each other. We're connecting with each other through things like our goals and things like that. One of the things that's been big to us and our family is we had our vision day, obviously, but it has to carry. It's not just setting goals at the beginning of the year. It's connecting again and getting aligned with what we want to accomplish. And so you can tell them.
Well, I was even just thinking.
It's one of the things that's been on your vision board that we actually get to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get some cool video and pics of that. I'm sure we will. But
I'm sure.
But it's something that it was like, why would a kid put that on their vision board? But now it's kind of happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, when I put it on my vision board, I was like, that's never gonna happen.
Okay.
But I was like,
what is it? You got to tell everybody.
Okay, so we're going on a helicopter ride over Zion National Park. That's where we're at now. We didn't say that at the beginning, but that's where we're at now. And on my vision board, I had like go on a helicopter ride. Didn't really matter where. It could have literally been over like PA, like right in Farmville. That would have been fine with me. But just that it was like a helicopter. But I remember writing that down. And I looked at my mom. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. Especially not this year. I was like, there's no way. Then here we are,
Well, what was cool yesterday is we had talked about it.
Yeah.
And then
not even like 15 minutes later, we saw the place.
We drive past it, and it's like, oh, there's a helicopter. There's a helipad. oh,
Yeah.
let's so it's funny. So making those visions come true by connecting those, getting realigned with them, and that's really important. I mean, that's really, really important.
Yeah.
One of the things that we want to stress is, when you have that time together, really connect, but use it, be purposeful, be intentional about it.
That's a big one.
And you don't have to go crazy like that.
I mean that was a little crazy. I thought it was crazy.
Well, I'm not talking about you got to spend all your time talking about your goals and things like that. You need to relax, but it is time to talk about that, see if they can play out, how those will make those things happen. We have some bigger ones there. We have some little ones that we want to accomplish, but it's also time to get aligned with those and see if they align with one another. I mean, I wanted to come out here, you wanted to come out here. That's kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
And it started with just that alignment, that connection of getting that somewhere where it was written down. Trip with Faith. Boom. Okay, where's it going to happen? And it was difficult. We just had to keep pushing it to make it happen. Your schedule, my schedule.
Yeah.
But well worth it.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
It just made me think of I remember the trip started with me going, I want to go to school in Alabama. And you were like, what in the world? You and Mom were like, what in the world? I was like, you're number one in gymnastics.
Going to trips, okay.
Yeah. And then I remember for my birthday, we went to Alabama. I was like, okay, so that's not normal, I don't think, but that's the coolest thing ever. And then from there it was like, okay, I want to go to Utah. A 10-year-old wanted to go to Utah, but I really did. And then we just showed up. And you just made it happen. Whether it seemed possible or not, you made it happen. And I think disconnecting kind of makes you connect to accountability. Because, I'm keeping you accountable to stay disconnected from work, and you're keeping me accountable to stay disconnected from social media. But it's so much more than that. It's okay, I'm holding you accountable to the things that we talked about on the rock, on the floor of our basement, in the office, anywhere that we're at, we're talking about something that's important to me. And I think it's good that we're keeping each other accountable. Because I was kind of oh, I don't know, the helicopter makes me nervous now that we're here. And you're no, it'll be fine. We just have to do it. So I think for me, disconnecting has been eye-opening for the way that I can hold you accountable, the way you hold me accountable, and a lot of intentionality behind how I go forward with
and just how
goals.
we hold ourselves accountable, and help each other, help one another, help our family, So I guess in closing, one of the things that's always good to disconnect for a little bit, put the electronics down, but don't just haphazardly do that. Be intentional about it. Connect with one another. Talk about dreams, goals, ambitions, likes, dislikes, just
everything.
Talk about how you're feeling. And make it open and take that time to connect. But
I was gonna say, even how you said earlier, we were talking about our habits and our goals, as we just said, but you were a lot of the time I try to write things down or record it so that I don't forget. And that helped me a lot, because I'm I think a lot of things, my brain's all over the place, and it was nice to be maybe if I just write it down, I can come back to it. Or if I write it down, then maybe I'll have a better thought about it in the future. So I think going forward with goals too, my advice would be always write them down. Always have them somewhere that you remember. I write them in my phone, which is ironic about the disconnecting, but I write in my phone or my notebook. And share those with people, because I think the most important thing you could do is to set goals and go for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And one last thing before we kind of jump off of here for this podcast, just any dad that's really wanting to connect with your daughter, it can happen. I mean, she's 20 now. It was really cool. In a few days. You're still a teenager.
Yeah. For now.
But it's not that they want to move away. We just got to spend that time, be intentional about connecting to what is most important. And I hear a lot of dads say, well, my daughter doesn't want anything to do with me, and that may be so, but I doubt if that's actually the truth. So take that time, really connect with things that they want to do, but spend time listening, spend time having fun,
Mhm.
You know, even if it's chasing after the the Utah black moose, right, that we saw on the road.
Yeah.
But inside joke there, gang. But anyhow, anything that you want to say before we get out of here?
Well, I would say, not that you have to go to Utah, but to have goals like that has probably been like just a shaping factor for my identity. And I think when you take time in with people that you really prioritize, and I mean, even if you feel like you're not prioritizing them, like put that time in, put that effort in, because your intentionality is going to impact who you are and who they are, and what you achieve. So I think it's just like, this seems so small. I mean, it's only 5 days, but like it's 5 days that are so impactful to me, to you, and even the people around us, because they're like, oh, what are they doing? Like they look at us a little weird at first, but I think it's like, this is special to me because now it's a tradition. But it's not only that, it's time with you, and it's time I normally don't get like during the school year, so I'm like cherishing every moment. So I guess like my thing's just been focus on intentionality, hold each other accountable and yourself, definitely chase after some black moose, but also just like look up, like just enjoy it, because like every little detail that's out there you're gonna miss if you're mindlessly scrolling through pictures that are already edited anyway. So you might as well just look up and enjoy it. And that's kind of, we're looking at this huge rock right here, if you didn't know. It's like this, it's crazy. It just makes you like, just, I don't even know. I don't even have words. Just that childlike awe and like wonder you're talking about. Just crazy. We're just geeking out the whole time.
Yeah, and I'll end with this story, and again, I'm going back to dads and daughters.
Yeah.
Today, wonderful time. We pulled over at the sign to the entrance of Zion Park here in Utah, and to take a picture. And we took a picture. We saw a family going up before us, and we needed someone to take our picture. So we're like, hurry up and get behind them. We'll take their picture. They'll probably need somebody to take our picture. They'll take ours, and then we'll be done. So we did that. But what was cool about that, I asked the dad. He was in front of us, and I said, hey, look, you want me to get your picture? You get ours. He said, oh, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And then his daughter got down from the sign, and I said, I'm just curious, how old are you? And she said 10. And I said, that's really cool, because she was 10 years old the first time we got our picture together here. And now it's 10 years later, and we're still taking pictures, still making memories, still setting goals, still looking ahead and staying connected. So with that, until the next time, you can join us, hit that bell icon to get notified when we post again. You can find us at centerforvictory.com. I'm Eric. This is Faith. Hope you have cowbell for sure. And remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you soon.